World champion Michael Malero. He's been up there on the podium a few times recently, so he is showing signs of coming into his own as a freestyle motocross rider. This is not a quartet to slouch at, because they are all fantastic riders.
I don't even think that view right there gives off how steep these grandstands actually are. Everything is cement here.
All right, well, it's a pretty steep arena. You're absolutely right. We should have had 5 guys in this first round. Unfortunately, Clinton Moore, one of the riders that is not participating tonight, had a crash in training. He fell off the bike. He's okay. Nothing happened to him, but, you know, it's tough not to see him riding, and I'm sure he would rather be out there riding, but safety first, guys.
Yeah, it's such a bummer. Clinton was riding so well.
Yeah,
and take a look at this.
We have a look at this. He wanted to do a one-hand heart attack, and he just missed. I talked to him about it earlier. He just missed the grab, couldn't get the seat grab on the bike, and went down. But you see there, he's okay, and that's the most important thing.
That is one tough kid. Look, he's got a broken pinky. All that, he fell off his motorcycle 30 feet upside down, and he broke his pinky.
It's only sprained. He just crunched the tip of his finger. That's about it.
That just shows how tough these guys are. I mean, they're laying it all on the line out there, and it just is amazing with how gnarly it is that he could walk away from that.
Yeah.
I mean, just knocked the wind out of himself, banged his head a little bit, and he's back here hanging out saying, gosh, I wish I could ride. I'm so bummed that I'm missing riding tonight.
Well, these guys are in fantastic shape, and I mean, they have to be. They have to be strong. They have to, you know, they have to be fit. They have to have that aerobic and anaerobic fitness. So, you know, you can't just come out and ride a bike really well, Andy Bell. I'll leave it at that. But seriously, I mean, these guys are in top shape, and in the last few years, you even mentioned it earlier, in the last few years, the professionalism and the amount that they focus on their training and their fitness levels has really gone through the roof.
Yeah, it's gone through the roof. Back in my day, a training was, you know, maybe running to the bar the night before the event or something like that. Now these guys are in tip-top shape, and Eric Ruiz is going to start us off here. Starting off, and we noticed this last night, he does his tricks so quickly, but he stretches it out very nice, a nice dead body to get going. Right onto the step-down jump, the Rodova.
Yeah.
And you're really going to notice the speed that he just cranks these tricks out. And only 60 seconds out here right now, so he's really going to have to hustle if he wants to get 6 tricks in.
The problem with his hustle is he's doing those tricks so quickly, I'm not even sure the judges are seeing what he's doing. But to be honest with you, tonight he's looking a lot calmer during his actual trick execution, so that may bode well for him.
Yeah, I'm actually impressed with how much he has improved since last night, and so far so good for Eric Ruiz. He's going to have this is probably going to be it for him. 10 seconds on the clock.
He's going to come out of that Mexico City tunnel jump if he gets underway to the ramp before the time runs out.
I wonder, he's been looking at doing, he can't do the Volt, but he's been looking at doing the Volt here. Maybe he doesn't care. He doesn't care.
I can't believe it.
He doesn't even care.
He doesn't even care. He knows it's not going to count. He just wanted to do this. He's been talking about this all week long. He said he wanted to do the Volt, and he said he wanted to do the Volt in a competition the first time ever. He got all tangled up with that bike, and he still managed to ride away. So no matter what happens tonight, and I can pretty much guarantee we're not going to see Eric Ruiz moving on to the quarterfinals, but no matter what happens tonight, he is going to be completely stoked about pulling the Volt for the first time ever.
What a great place. In his home country, his home city here, he's got the Mexican fans on their feet.
Yeah.
We were on our feet. Well, that was so scary because he really got tangled up. Yeah. I can't wait to see a little bit of slow-mo replay. It looks like he stabbed his foot down and he's limping pretty good.
Yeah.
But now he wants to check it out. Only problem is that is an automatic disqualification, which means he's not going to get his prize money. He's not going to have a chance of moving forward, but I don't think he cares.
Yeah, I don't think he cares either. I mean, you know, if we look back at this run and pick it apart a little bit, that first jump out the box, I mean, he's got great extension on that dead body.
Yeah, all the way through. It's just a little faster than we would like, and we discussed it a little bit last night watching qualification. the longer a rider's been around, the more comfortable the rider is, the slower you'll see their execution, and the more stretched out you'll see it stay, which is really going to be a big plus in the judge's book, especially that execution judge.
Yeah, and you know what? These guys also take the time to speak with the judges and say, hey, you know, what do you want me to do here? Here's that vault that you did off the super kicker. Look at him. He barely got back on that bike. It looks like he was holding on for dear life to the opposite side of the handlebar with his left hand.
He absolutely was. He went so quickly and threw himself so forward. He had both hands on the right handlebar.
Yeah. And you're right. He did stab that left foot of his down pretty hard. And you can see right there, he got tangled up on the bike, and he was lucky to be lucky to ride away from that one without basically doing a header down that landing ramp. He's stoked right now, absolutely pumped.
Hey, he's got a bright future. He's only 18 years old.
Yeah.
He has a bright future. I know Redbull just picked him up as a sponsored athlete. We saw a little presentation where Travis Pastrana actually gave him his Redbull helmet. So that's pretty cool. There's Tom Pages hanging out back there.
Keeping an eye on Ruiz. Yeah. He's going, okay, this Ruiz kid's going to come at me hard
he's coming.
Exactly. So moving on up, Remy Bissoir is our next rider here in round number 1. Hopefully Remy, seeing that vault, doesn't forget what he's got to do out there in round 1 and just do those upright tricks. Let's not forget that out there either, folks.
Well, we've seen it happen before. We saw, I think it was Wes Agee in Glen Helen last year, forgot about the rotational tricks in the qualification in this first round and actually knocked himself out. So if my memory serves me right, I've hit my head a lot in my life, so don't hold me to that, but we've seen it happen before, so hopefully he doesn't get confused after watching Ruiz out there.
Now Remy's a pretty solid competitor. Of these 4 guys, it's a real tough call as to who can go on, but Remy is he's a battler. He's a guy that does not like to be in second place for anything at all. And so he's going to come out there, and he has really great extension. You're going to see a big contrast here between Eric Ruiz and Remy Bissoir with the length that he actually holds his tricks. As he'll head down into the Mexico City tunnel there for the Mexico City tunnel jump. And this first jump, time will start. Here we go. Remy Bissoir. Right away out the gate with a nice sidewinder.
Stretches out a flatliner there. Flatliner being when he gets his bike full off to one side, gets the feet out double max style, but everything's kind of laid out in pancake. That's going to be a flatliner. Really nice there.
I love the fact that he threw in a little indie there just to add a little bit onto it. Off the super kicker now. Going for a kiss of death off the super kicker. You can see he wasn't very far off the dirt. We've been talking about that a little bit this weekend as well. This is a massive landing ramp. Holy grab to Indy. It's taken the hands off the handlebars, letting the bike start to fly away, and just grabbing one of those C-grabs in time to pull himself back on. And the Indy is scissoring those legs behind him. Added a little bit of difficulty in style. Now he's coming out of the Azteca tunnel jump. Nice big Shaolin from Remy Bissoir.
So difficult when you pull away all the big flip tricks. I mean, Remy has some of the biggest flip tricks in the business.
Yeah,
and to take those away from a guy and make him go back to, honestly, the late 90s of freestyle motocross, maybe the early 2000s, but it's like a 14-year digression in the sport. And it makes these guys really dig deep. It's nice to see them have to go back old school and pull some of these tricks out.
Well, I think that's kind of part of the, the headspace of Redbull saying, look, we have to progress the sport, but at the same time, we have to, make it fair for everybody in this first round and see if you guys can still do those original tricks and add a little bit of style in. Speaking of style, right there.
Really stylish there on that flatliner. Looking really good. And look, the super kicker, but he really scorpions that out and gets perfect extension on such a small jump there.
Well, he's one of the most flexible guys out there. Him and Levi Sherwood have some of the most flexible tricks on this tour. There's that shallow, and look how far forward in front of the handlebars he gets those hips and then pushes those legs way far apart. And this is just plain old bike control here.
Nice little nose wheelie down the landing. That one's not going to count for the run score, but the crowd always loves it.
Yeah, it never hurts to have a stop you in your trick bag for fun, eh? All right, our next rider up is going to be Libor Podmal. Libor has a brand new trick that he previewed recently at a contest in Berlin. And we're all struggling a little bit as to what to call it. He's calling it the surfer flip. And basically what he does, he stands on the seat and he does a backflip. My ideal situation would be that he will come to the next round and be able to show us that surfer flip. But the fact of the matter is that he really struggled because he crashed the surfer flip in Berlin and he injured his wrist. So that wrist has really been bothering him, his right wrist. And you may see him shake it out between each of the landings here because the landings are very, very hard on the wrist.
Ah, here we go. He gets up into surfer position right away.
That's the beginning of that trick for him. So the only difference there is he flips it. And like we know, we can't have any flip tricks in this round, but what a great way for Libor Podmal to start off.
Now gets out into that 9 o'clock knack, which is basically the same position as a flatliner, but instead of laying the bike out, laying yourself out, you're actually just getting out your legs out into the 9 o'clock position. Good old Tommy Clower style back in the day. One-hand Indy.
Yeah, one-hand Indy. Superman C-grab one-hander Indy in there, so I like your version better. It's
a little less of a, you got to shorten these tricks sometimes because
there's so much going on.
There is a lot going on here, and some of these guys are doing so many combos.
Cliffhanger, no hander lander, no bar check there either. Speaking of combos,
yeah, that's a good old base jumper there. Going from the cliffhanger position with your feet hooked under the handlebars all the way back to the pegs without doing a bar check. And you saw him reach down and think about it, but then he knew better, pulled back, and every little bit helps. Gets a little sidewall under there. And that's it.
Yeah, that's going to do it. 60 seconds is not a lot of time in order for these guys to be able to navigate around a course like this. And you know, the tunnels make it that much more difficult. So the fact that they get 4 or 5 good solid jumps in round number 1 is testament to you know, keeping the flow and keeping everything nice and smooth. So far we've seen Eric Ruiz, Remy Bizarre, and Libor Podmal. There's one more guy to go as we take a look back at some of the tricks in slow-mo here from Libor.
I think Libor actually brought quite a bit more variety than Remy did, especially with the surfer takeoff, the no-handed lander on the cliffhanger. He really worked the front of the bike, the back of the bike. He used that super kicker more to his advantage with that combo of the surfer takeoff.
Yeah.
And if you compare apples to apples, I don't know. I think they're about the same, the flatliner versus the 9 o'clock knack.
Now, my opinion is I'll give the flatliner to Remy Bizarre in that case, but I think you're absolutely right, Andy. There's a little bit more variety, a little bit more spice in the run from Libor Podmal.
There it is. Oh, he looked at it. He thought about touching it. He's like, no, I can't do it. Nice landing. The base jumper. And then finishes off there.
That's something that Libor is so good at, that sidewinder. You know, you look at some guys and they kick their legs a little bit, but Libor really commits to this trick. Arms up in the air, legs just pedaling beside the bike with the bikes flying there. And, you know, I think he really enjoys that trick, and it's one of the best tricks he does in this upright repertoire of his.
Well, he seems stoked there, and we haven't seen any scores yet. So the rest of the boys, Adam Jones, Levi Sherwood back there, and Adam's mechanic Cliffy, hanging out, waiting, watching, maybe eyeing up the competition because one of these guys is coming through.
Yep.
But like you said earlier, the bad thing is whoever makes it through goes head-to-head with Levi Sherwood in the quarterfinal. So that's not an easy task.
Yeah, it's coming in as the 8th rider of 8 is a tough job. And you know, up next here, Michael Malero from Spain. He's had probably one of the best teachers in the business with Danny Torres, and he starts off with the surfer. Different for him. Holy smokes, was that over huge?
He went so long, and
at the bottom of that landing ramp.
And you notice that Libor did the surfer, but he took off on the super kicker. Which means that Malero now is just one little point up in the judge's eyes by doing the same very difficult combo, but doing it off the big ramp.
Yeah, that's right. The 22-meter gap for Michael Malero, and here we go. Apples to apples.
And that was a
very nice base jumper. He didn't bar check at all, not even in the air. And here we go, stepping it up one more notch in the side saddle takeoff to super can flatline.
Yeah, he really stretched that out. And Malero's been a top 5-6 guy all the last 2 seasons. So, and here we go, one-handed takeoff. Malero's looking good. Right now, I'm going to say it's going to be hard for anyone to beat him here in this round number 1.
And I think he's actually had more jumps than the other guys have as well.
I like his line choice. I liked his line choice there, and it's always hard sitting up here in the booth to really do much armchair judging. I know we all love to, and we love to maybe pick the judges apart if we don't agree. But I've been in that seat. I was a head judge on this tour for 5 or 6 years. It's the worst seat in the house to be in. And we were talking about that today, and even Drake was saying, hey, want to switch positions? I said, absolutely not. It's so difficult. Everybody they're so good now. And everybody is so tight that you just have to look for the tiniest little things to really mark anyone down.
Yeah, it's not really about the tricks anymore. It's about the mistakes the guys are making. And really, that was a fantastic run for Michael Malero. And if I were a betting man, I would put my money down on Michael Malero in that one, although that might be a close call between him and Libor Podmol, but Malero did have just a notch better than Libor Podmol on 2 of the tricks anyway that we can call right off the bat, and that was that surfer and the base jumper.
Right, and he did go long on that first jump that he hit out of the surfer, which would be a little bit of a markdown, but come on, he did a surfer takeoff. He landed fine, he just landed deep, but the judges do have to look at these landings. Are they landing both wheels at the same time? Are they landing short? Are they landing long?
Well, you could say he landed both wheels at the same time, just at the bottom of that landing ramp.
Well, he did, and you know what? He rode out of it just fine, so I don't think he'll get marked down too far. In my semi-educated opinion, Troy, I'm going to say we're going to see Malero move on, but we have to wait for the judges to let us know. But the one thing I do know that I just got word, Ruiz is DQ'd.
Yeah.
Unfortunately for him, but I don't think he cares. Like I said earlier,
absolutely.
I mean, he's officially disqualified for doing a rotational trick.
He was aware of the rules. He knows what it's all about, and he knew he was up against some pretty stiff competition. So I think for him, it was more of a display of his abilities and talent here for the fans that were in the house.
You're never going to be able to take away the fact that his first body varial in competition was here in this iconic stadium in Mexico City
in front of his 38,000 people, no less.
Who were all cheering for him.
No, they weren't just cheering. They were on their feet freaking out when he did that vault, and because they knew it was their man on course. But you can't take away the fact that, there you see Eric Ruiz, no points, so that's an official DQ. Remy Bissoir in 3rd place with 78.4. So really, like we discussed, it's down between Libor Podmol and Michael Malero, and there you see it, Michael Malero with an 82.1. So that's a solid lead over top of Libor Podmol, 2.1 points to move on to the quarterfinals. So good job by Michael Malero. It's like we said off the top of the show in the introduction of these guys. He's really coming into his own, and he's starting to find his stride.
Well, Malero, like we said, he was a top guy last year, and he was always in there, maybe not on the podium, but he was always in there 4th, 5th, 6th place.
Yeah. And let's not forget, last year in Madrid, Spain, the home of Danny Torres, he beat Danny in the head-to-head.
Yeah, he did, and overall he was 10th. I'm just checking it out here. He was 10th in the series after missing 2 entire events.
There you see that landing.
That was really long.
That was really long and very heavy on the back wheel, but I mean, benefit to him, he landed on that back wheel. It probably saved him a crash.
There we go. Now Malero, he's got the pressure on because he's going to have 3 head-to-head battles go in front of him, but he's going to have to ride again in about 15 minutes in the quarterfinals. So he's got to go back, chug a Red Bull, stretch out, make a plan for the 75-second run where rotational tricks and backflips and front flips and special flips and everything else are allowed. So now he's got to get his mindset in there, write a trick list, get ready, and face off with our #1 qualifier from last night, Levi Sherwood.
Quarterfinal head-to-head action. The winner of each of the head-to-head battles will then move on to the semifinals. And then, of course, the winner of each of the head-to-heads and semifinals will move on to the final. And there you go, quarterfinal #1 getting ready to come out on course. Danny Torres going up against Rob Adelberg. Like you say, Danny struggling a little bit, trying to find that confidence in his ankle again. He is a solid rider, so there's no messing around with him. When he comes out on the course, he wants to do the job, and he'll battle through the pain. But in defense of him, if he doesn't do as well tonight, we can give him that a little bit, because Rob Adelberg has been riding with supreme confidence lately.
Well, Adelberg put a tour win under his belt last year at Glen Helen in California. He actually qualified one spot ahead of Danny Torres last night, so he's carrying that confidence over to today. He really felt good, he said. He felt solid. He wasn't rushed. He has kind of outgrown that franticness that we'd seen in his riding a few times at the beginning of last year and the year before, where he just got overly excited when he was out there and was just almost spazzing. Yeah, he always had the big tricks, but he was going too hard.
I think it's safe to say that his riding has matured, and so has he. He doesn't freak out as much when he gets out there. And frankly, you know, that win that he had in Glen Helen last year, that was a big confidence boost for him. And I'll tell you what, it's good stuff.
Danny Torres, Spain. Mexico City is really important for me, it's special for me because I won my first Redbull fighter here in 2007.
All right, Danny Torres will be the first guy to ride between these two gentlemen in the head-to-head. A little bit of a tough job for him because Rob Adelberg gets to sit there and watch the run of Danny Torres, and Danny also has to be the guy to get these judges in their 5 categories warmed up as well. And he starts off side saddle takeoff out of the Azteca tunnel jump into a big
stretches out in the flatliner, and let's watch all these little things that we see him do. He goes into the quarter pipe, hits it. The use of course judge over there, Drake McElroy,
he's gonna
is really going to be watching for stuff like that. But watch, one-handed takeoff, side saddle takeoff, no-handed landers.
Executioner flip right there, amazing.
He gets going, and Danny's always been a quick rider. He was saying earlier that he was actually quite surprised that he didn't get his last jump counted.
Sideshow over the super kicker. That's a bit of a low-scoring jump for Danny Torres. I'm surprised that he threw that one out.
Yeah, I guess he just feels like he's got to get the right side up one in. And there, like we said last night, we struggled to call it this, but the Paris Hilton flip, which is basically his own version of a Shaolin flip, but his feet are up and down instead of spread from side to side. And now, we didn't see this last night, a surfer takeoff into a kiss of death.
Well, we'll give him that that little super kicker jump as a throwaway jump this one so far, because he's had some big bangers so far with that surfer and then with the lazy boy flip right there, and he's got time left on the clock to come back out and do one last jump.
Something big here. A big whip flip for Danny.
Nice.
To finish it off. Red flag drop, second flag flying. Danny's going to be pretty, other than the relatively low scoring sidewinder that he just threw down there off the super kicker. Really solid run.
Yeah, it was a very good run from Danny Torres, but you know, it's like I said, I'm a little surprised at the choice of that one trick, but maybe that's not going to affect the score so much. He rode well.
Well, there's just not a whole lot you can do off that super kicker, and he's doing his big flip tricks off the big ramps, which are going to score him. He knows it's just kind of like, hey, I'm hitting this for use, of course. So let's take a look back here. And if you're on Twitter, on Instagram, give us a little hashtag love. Join in the conversation. We're going to be up here checking some tweets. And, maybe we can even jump on and answer something. I don't know. Maybe we'll have some time up here, Troy.
Maybe, maybe not. Time is vital. Come on, join us. Hashtag XFighters.
There we go. And there's that difference between the Shaolin flip and the Paris Hilton flip, as he calls it.
I really like that trick, actually, because he really stretches that. And look at this surfer. He stood up tall on that seat at the takeoff.
And then fully extends an Indian air, and then fully extends it into a tsunami.
Yeah.
Straight up and down. Danny's pumped. That was actually a very good run. And it's a position that Danny's not used to being in. Being the first guy out in the quarterfinals,
Yeah.
I don't even remember the last time, or if there has been a time, that Danny was the first guy to ride in the quarterfinals.
I think the lowest we've seen him ride in the quarterfinals is about third.
Hi, I'm Rob Adelberg from Australia. Mexico City is a tough one with the elevation and the bike's not running perfect, but luckily we've got these steep walls with the crowd right on top of us to get us pumped up.
Robbie, you didn't look all that pumped right there. Well, and he makes a really good point, especially for himself and a couple other guys that are riding two-stroke still. We're at around 8,500 feet, which is really high. I just thought I was really out of shape when I was walking up the stairs here, but no, the air is thin, which means it robs these bikes of horsepower. As Adelberg starts off with a really nice cliffhanger backflip, gets great extension, and loops right into the step-down ramp here.
And this is what we were talking about his flow with a beautiful one-hand hard attack. He just seems to go from ramp to ramp nicely without struggling to try and find the line. Danny Torres is going to be
He's looking
close.
He's looking really stressed
right.
down there, but he had as good a run as I think he could have had. He couldn't really pick anything out of that. As we see Adelberg, Cordova flip, straight at us here up in the booth. He looks solid. He's going quickly, not too fast. Nice. Oh, Indian air to heel clicker backflip.
Yeah, nice combo right there.
And I don't think we saw that out of him last night qualifying either. So, knowing he qualified fourth last night and beat Danny Torres, steps it up again. So, this is still pretty close.
Will he go base jumper?
Oh,
no.
Yeah,
he was
you
a little
see
bit
that.
too nose heavy on the in-run.
You saw that. He was going to come up a little bit short, had to go and grab on, and that's unfortunately a big mistake. But then backs it up with a massive kiss of death backflip. That, if you're going to try and erase a mistake from the judge's mind, it's best to back it up like that.
He's going to have trouble. I think they're probably not going to count this jump. Or wait a minute, no, now they changed the rule for this.
It's when he comes
into the
yes.
tunnel. As long as he's in the tunnel, this will count then.
Oh, there we go, into a side saddle lander. So just to clarify, when the clock hits zero, the rider must be on his way into the tunnel, actually breaking the perimeter of the outside wall, heading into the tunnel when the clock hits zero. Yeah. If that's the case, he's got all the time in the world to go in, turn around, get set, and hit the ramp. If he's not on the way in when the clock hits zero, no matter if he hits the jump or not, the judges will not look at it.
And if we look at that run with a little bit of criticism here, I would say that was a pretty good run with only one glaring mistake in there, and that was the base jump.
And unfortunately, one small mistake like that, and it wasn't even a mistake, he just wasn't able to do the trick to its fullest potential. As we watch, and I noticed this last night, Adelberg, as with most of the Australian riders, they actually do their seat grab tricks with their right hand grabbing onto the seat, instead of most American riders actually grab with their left hand on the seat, because we like to be able to hold onto the throttle if anything ever goes wrong. And there is a nice combo out of Adelberg, and here we're going to see it massively stretched out cliffhanger, and he doesn't want to grab on, but
just coming a little bit too nose heavy in on the landing, and I think probably it was the better bet for him to just go for the grab. But really, the cliffhanger was excellent as far as execution is concerned. And right here, the sidewinder to side saddle landing. So, an all-in-all good run. This is going to be a close one between these two guys.
I think Torres is going to get a couple points there, especially for that surfer takeoff.
Well, let's see. Here's how it works with these guys in the head-to-heads. We'll see helmets come up on screen, and the helmets will get distributed as according to the points distribution by the judges. So whoever has the most helmets is the winner. So Danny Torres starts off with variety. And it's like you said, variety for Danny Torres was good. Execution helmet will go also to Danny Torres. So far, Torres with the advantage here. He needs
Adelberg
one more
already
helmet.
knows. He's already put
Style.
on his helmet. They're
Style.
rolling up slow, but
It's really slow. Only a half-point distinction between those two guys on the style points. So the third helmet goes to Danny Torres, as does the fourth helmet. And then, of course, the energy judge.
a clean sweep by Danny
Clean sweep
Torres.
by Danny Torres. Very nice.
And unfortunately, I don't think that just doing that base jumper would have been enough for Adelberg. Obviously, the way that the judges looked at it, what Adelberg was bringing to the table, or what Torres brought to the table with the surfer takeoff, a few of his different tricks, and the difficulty of a few of his tricks. Hey, Torres moves on.
Yeah, tough job for Rob Adelberg. Would have liked to have seen him move on to the semifinals, but he's going to take this to the to try and reset for the next event coming up. All right, next pairing, Adam Jones going up against Thomas Pages. This is going to be very interesting. Tough job for actually both of these guys, but I think, to be quite honest with you, the tougher job will be on Thomas Pages' side, because Adam Jones has been riding so smooth. We've been watching him over the last few years. He is a fantastic one-off best trick rider, but he's been struggling to link together a really nice run.
What's up? I'm Adam Jones from the USA. FMX is more important because it's my job, but I guess playing guitar lately is kind of my passion, and it's kind of shifted from daydreaming about riding FMX to daydreaming about playing guitar and just being a master guitar shredder, so yeah, maybe guitars.
Well, it's nice to see that Adam has moved on, because he lived on Guitar Hero for many years back in the day when we used to go to contests at the Do Tour. He'd sit in the bus, play Guitar Hero all day, every day. So it's nice that at least he finally got a real guitar and started shredding.
Yeah. I have to say, though, I like the way Adam's been riding, and like as I was saying before we saw his short bio there, he's been so smooth lately. I just hope he can stay out of his head when he's riding here. And wow, starts off with a double grab flip right out of the gate. That is a big trick to start with, and that's a confidence boost for him.
Well, that's a trick that won an X Games Best Trick Gold Medal in the last few years. And then he goes right into the rigor mortis, which just basically takes the dead body and flips it another 90 degrees straight up in the air. Wait until you see that one in slow motion. It's going to make your shoulders hurt. And this is a tough one. Big extension there on the cliffhanger backflip, and that's another one we can break down in slow-mo, but I love the way Adam is stretching out of the hips. He's not hunched over, and he's really getting everything he can out of that trick.
And his run's looking calm and smooth. It's calm and smooth. That's the buzzword, the keywords for him. And I think that's the major difference between this year's Adam Jones and Adam Jones in the years past.
Nice, huge turntable no-hander.
Yeah.
There's nothing holding onto the bike, as he does an old school move that Dave Turner made up way back in the day, but he's not holding on with anything right there. That is just such a gnarly trick. Even though it's right side up, it's very, very technical. And you hear the horn and the buzzer go, but he was already in the tunnel. This is going to count, so what's he going to pull out?
Nice,
Lazy boy backflip. Love that. Very, very solid run. And this is where it's going to get difficult with the judges, because last night we didn't see Tom do a single flip. Yet he brought the special flip, the Volt, and
The 540
the
flare.
540 flare, and the 540 flare tsunami.
Right. He added in a little bit extra there.
But from what I was told by the judges earlier, is they kind of almost docked him for doing two flares and not having enough variety, meaning he didn't do anything upside down. There it
you
is.
go.
There's that rigor mortis.
My goodness, that is just insanity how stretched he gets. He must do shoulder yoga or something, because my shoulders are hurting just watching.
Yeah, that's absolutely incredible. Great extension like we called on that cliffhanger flip. And then look at this, just really pushes out the kiss of death backflip, rulers it out perfectly straight up and down, 180 degrees. Look at that, one more shot at it. How that works, I'm still not sure.
Just powering the bike around on that rotation. And there's that turntable. And the difference is, like what you mentioned, when he does the turntable, he takes both hands off, and that ups the difficulty considerably.
Every time. I mean, if you're doing a move like that and you are not attached to the motorcycle
you're in
in
trouble.
any way, if you miss a hand, like we saw Clinton Moore do earlier on when we were watching his heart attack flip gone wrong, it is just bad news all around.
Yeah, I mean, that's gonna be a devastating fall. But you know what? Adam Jones has got those dials. He looked good in that run. I really like that run from Adam Jones. It's going to be interesting to see how Thomas Pages comes back from watching the run of Adam Jones and manages to, put together his own run if he's going to be on it tonight.
Well, it's going to be really, I think, up to the judges. If Thomas has the run that Thomas can have, and Adam has that run, it's really...
It's going to be a tight one. It's going to be very tight.
I'm John Pages from France. The perfect moment is when you land something after being working for many years. That's something fun.
Well, he's been working a lot of years just to get his head back around freestyle motocross after the horrendous crash for him in 2009 in Texas, and then, of course, that really terrible crash by his brother. Those two instances really took him out of the freestyle motocross game for a long time. So we were so happy to see him return a couple of years ago, and then last year with an epic season from Thomas with the things that he was doing. I mean, just amazing. He starts right away with the special flip, and that means good things for Thomas in this run if he can clean that first trick out of the gate.
Special flip right into no-handed Superman, going down the step down. No-handed Superman is, again, a very technical right-side-up trick because you're letting go of the bike and floating above it, and then you have to get your hand positioning perfect as you come back down. And we're all,
that was supposed to be the volt right there, and you can see him cross that leg over, but he wasn't feeling it. I think he had a little bit too much amplitude on that jump.
Well, we're going to see Tsunami 540.
Oh, no!
Oh, no!
Oh, that's going to cost him big time. That is going to cost him. In fact, I think that will cost him this battle between him and Adam Jones. That's
done. That's it. There's our tour champion is out in the quarterfinal, and he knows it. He's just going to wave to the crowd. He's probably going to give them something to remember him by. Really stretching out. That's what I love about watching Tom ride. No one likes riding a motorcycle. Since Travis Pastrana raced the Red Bull X-Fighters, no one has enjoyed being on a motorcycle more than Tom Pages.
Yeah, absolutely.
And it shows.
You can see there on the bottom, by the way, that's our Energy Live judging, Alvaro Del Fara, and you can see Pages. You can actually see the score moving as he gets out there and starts to interact with the crowd and puts a pedal down for, his run here, but obviously Pages is not going to be moving on to the semifinals because of the nature of missing the volt and falling on his flare Superman.
Well, and I was talking to him earlier down there, and he said that he was really struggling with the amount of power that his bike was making here in this high altitude, and he said that all his tricks have changed, that usually he uses the power of the bike to get him around on the flare and the flare Tsunami. He said now he's having to really pull to get the bike around, so it changed everything about the way he's jumping tonight, and he wasn't happy. As we take a look, this is the special flip. Take a look what he just did. He basically does a backflip 360 off the side of the motorcycle and then grabs back on, all the while doing a 22-meter jump.
Yeah. And then there's the Superman, and right here,
that's
where he wanted to do the volt, and it just, fortunately for him, he wasn't feeling it. And you could see he was really traveling through the air. He had a lot of height and a lot of distance, and there's the flare.
Tsunami, flare, just comes down a hair short there. Looks like he maybe hurt his foot or his knee just a little bit there as he limps back, but that's what happens sometimes when you mess one trick up, and we've seen this happen to Adam Jones, and it's such a hard thing to get past.
Yeah.
Once you make one mistake, in order to go back and absolutely nail the rest of your run, usually it sticks in your brain, and you think, oh man, I shouldn't have done that, instead of moving past it.
Jones is notorious for that as well, but you know what? He rode great tonight, and I think that put a lot of pressure on Thomas, so that added on to the things that he's dealing with his bike. you know, just made it a little bit too difficult for Thomas to pull it out properly this way.
Adam threw it down perfectly.
Yeah.
Adam did everything he needed to do, and then all he could do was sit back and watch. And Tom didn't, I wouldn't say cracked under the pressure. It's just what these guys are doing is so beyond what's ever been done on a motorcycle before that sometimes it doesn't go perfectly.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think we can call that cracking under pressure, quite honestly. You know, he did a good job as well as he could do under the circumstances, and, you know, it was just one small mistake, and he knew that after that he had to try and step it up in another way, and, you know, that sort of bit him a little bit. So there you go. Adam Jones gets 4 out of 5. I don't see the fifth element, but yeah, energy is going to go to Jonesy as well. So Adam Jones is moving on to the semifinal.
Well, the crowd is reacting. Here's some boos because they loved what Tom was bringing to the table, and they know who this man is. So he's running around, stripping down, throwing his gear away. And I don't know if we'll get a close-up, but you'll see on his chest, he actually has a massive bruise
scar, yeah,
and scratch from going down earlier yesterday, I think. And come on, Tom, give it all away, buddy. The crowd's loving him. They're bummed. We're all bummed we're not going to see him in a later round. But I'm pumped for my buddy Jonesy. He put it all together, looked really solid. No mental mistakes. He's having fun. He's happy, and it shows in his riding.
Yeah, maybe it's because he's playing the guitar as much. You know, he's just enjoying it a little bit more. And, you know, good on him. He's done a great job to get into the semifinal. He's one step closer. So moving on, quarterfinal heat number 3, Javier Villegas against Josh Sheehan. This is another one of those great matchups. Javier Villegas came on the scene a couple of years ago in Dubai, surprising everyone essentially as an unknown rider, and he managed to take a 3rd place on the podium for the Dubai event, and he was solid all season long. And I think probably last year he would have also been right there among the top 3 to 5 riders had he not had prior commitments that made it impossible for him to ride half of the tour. So, you know, it's going to be a fun one to watch Javier Villegas going up against Josh Sheehan. Now, Sheeny, I mean, he is just a spectacular rider as far as the big power tricks, and his flip combos are great as well. As Javier Villegas gets rid of the sombrero out of the audience here, making some friends in the audience. And he's going to be the first guy to ride in this pairing.
Well, it's too bad. Like you said, he missed the first 2 stops last year and still ended up 6th in the tour. And I think he had a 5th, he had a 4th, a 5th, and a 7th last year.
Hola, I'm Javier Villegas from Chile. The moment I leave the ramp, it seems like everything, time, space starts to freeze for a little bit. I feel like that's the only time I'm actually living in the present. Nothing else matters more than what's happening in those 2 or 3 seconds I'm in the air. And that's when I enjoyed life the most.
Well, that's another way of saying not very grounded. Okay, let's get it on, Javier Villegas. Let's see what you got this evening. The Neon Warrior.
Well, and he just squeaked in last night. Oh
my goodness.
And he's just, as you can tell right there, he's getting used to this new 450 bike, and that was a handful, of throttle he just grabbed. Massive kiss of death flip, but these 450s are so powerful. As you see him flip over to a side saddle takeoff, really lays out that flatliner. You see him look back a little bit, gets into a heart attack position, which is getting the feet up elevated above the body. And Javier, I like his line choice right here.
I like his line choice too, but you know, I was just going to mention, he doesn't get flustered very easily in these situations. When he makes a mistake like that first jump, he tends to let it go and just get back on form here.
Well, and we're back to it now. He's got the surfer takeoff.
Oh my goodness!
That may have been the biggest kiss of death I have ever seen. That was vertically straight up and down like that. He was so far past 90 degrees vertical.
And he was coming down nose
And-
heavy on that landing.
Well, he was yanking himself back on the bike. As we see him flip around, Cordova flip to a Superman, which always is a bit of a scary looking trick because you're not sure if he's doing that on purpose or he's flying off the bike. This last trick is going to count for Javier.
Let's see what he's
And
got
he
in store
hits
for us.
this super kicker. Nice. Superman C-grab in the air on the super kicker. That's such a tiny jump. The fact that he can pull that big a maneuver off that tiny jump is really impressive. And I think he's going to be rewarded with a pretty solid score here.
Yeah, although he did look a little bit hairy on a couple of those. That first jump, for instance, he went really long. Like you said, grabbing a handful of throttle. And then on that tsunami, I mean, holy smokes.
Now, another thing that I learned by having a conversation with our head judge and Drake earlier on today is if you notice on the step down jump there, he is not doing any flip tricks. He is not flipping the big step down ramp, which I didn't notice last night, but the judges pointed out when I asked a few questions today. So look at this extension so far past vertical.
Oh, man.
And so the judges are actually really paying attention, and not just the execution judge, but Drake, the use of course judge. He really has to pay attention to what tricks these guys are doing on what ramps. But maybe whatever he lost on the step down ramp, he's going to gain back by doing such a huge trick on the little step up.
Well, I mean, Javier is a very, very strong rider, both physically and mentally, and that's going to bode well for him, I think. I don't know. I'm not sure I agree 100% with you on the scores, though.
Josh Sheehan, Australia. Leaving the ramp, it's like a second and a half of freedom. You're flying through the air, you're floating, there's nothing to worry about.
Nothing to worry about
Nothing to worry
except for falling off 30 feet in the air, completing the rest of your trick, making sure you grab back on, and about 47 other things. But glad you're not thinking of anything, Josh, because I'm thinking about them for you, buddy.
We got it covered, buddy. We're taking care of that here.
So I'm stoked to watch Josh ride. He's really been looking solid. He looked great last year, a couple injuries. Starts off big with a 360. Supposed to be a heel clicker. Kind of horseshoes it out, but hey, you're doing a 360. Can you really pick that much at it?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay, we can. Only because that's our job.
That's what makes it fun.
I don't want Josh mad at me. Have you seen how ripped that guy is?
He's in shape. That's insane.
Coming out of that second tunnel here.
Side saddle lander on that one.
Yeah.
That 22-meter jump. That's big.
Judge is looking for that ride, and here we go. 540 out of Sheehan. It's a
Whoa,
big one
that's
for
a
him.
good
Nice. Really smooth,
very
really
good.
nice. We've only got, I think there's only 3 guys really doing that here. Unless Danny decides to pull it out in. He told me he's done it in the foam pit. He really, with the injury, didn't get the time he wanted to practice. Here's Sheehan, one-handed takeoff into a saran wrap backflip off
that
the
small
super
ramp,
kicker.
yeah.
Once again, Drake, the use of course judge, is really going to like that one. Catnack Indian air out of Josh. Only 7 seconds left. This one is going to count. Nice run out of Josh Sheehan.
Yeah, I think that's for me, it's the better run between the two of them. I really like Javi, I really like Josh, but quite honestly, Sheedy just attacked this course with a little bit more, I'm going to say, prestige.
He did. You know what I noticed that Javier didn't do that's usually in his repertoire is that massive suicide no-hander backflip where he actually lays right back on the seat, hooks his foot on under the shifter to make sure he doesn't fly off. And I'm not sure what he filled in that place, but that's a big trick for him.
I think it was that last trick that he did off the super kicker. Instead of coming through that tunnel, the Mexico City tunnel jump and doing it off the 22-meter there, I think he opted for a different trick off the super kicker because clearly he was shaken by a couple of those early jumps in this run as we look back at Josh Sheehan's run here.
It's always nice to look back slow-mo and see what's going on, see the extension, see what these guys are doing there. Check out that side saddle lander.
Just calm as a cucumber on the landing, by the way.
Very good. The executioner into rock solid. And this is relatively new for Josh. He came out with it about midway through the year, towards the end of the year last year. Looked really solid on it, though. He's got it dialed.
Yeah, and I mean, that was a much better rotation than we saw in the training as well. He got it almost all the way into, landing position for the ramp. So I think the judges will really like that one.
I have a feeling we may see Sheeny move on through. But once again, like I said, sometimes we miss stuff that the judges are paying attention to. And it's so close. It's so difficult, the job that they have these days.
Well, let's see what the breakdown of helmet distribution is here as we take a look at these two guys without their helmets on. Let's see if it's going to be Javier or Sheehan moving on to the semifinal.
Look how hard that Sheeny's breathing, and he is one in shape dude. That just shows how difficult those 75 seconds out there are.
Sheen gets the first helmet. Execution helmet is going to go to Javier Villegas.
Whoa.
We got a battle on our hands.
It's a battle. Love it.
Style.
I'm saying Sheeny.
Yeah, there you go.
He
Two
looked so
helmets
good
for him.
out there.
Horseshoes. I'm going to say Sheeny on this one as well because he threw in the
Yeah,
quarter
he threw in
pipe.
the quarter pipe.
They're making it a little bit stressful for us all. There you go.
Yeah,
Sheeny gets
there's
it.
no doubt on that one. So we're going to see Sheehan move in against, is it Adam Jones? Yeah, in the semifinal, which is going to be, that is going to be a good battle.
That's going to be a very good battle.
Because they both bring quite a few different tricks to the table. Sheehan coming in with that 360, I think, is pretty important for him. And then Jones, of course, is throwing down the rigor mortis and the no-handed turntable, which Jones is, or which Sheeny isn't.
Yeah. All right, next heat matchup, quarterfinal number 4. And this heat will do it for our quarterfinals. It's Michael Malero against that man right there, Levi Sherwood.
I'm so proud of Levi's mullet that he's rocking there. He's making my bad haircut look good right now, I have to say.
Yeah, he's rocking the Trojan lid in a big way.
He is, and really been noticing, Levi has been smiling a lot this weekend.
Yeah.
I've seen him smile more this weekend than I saw him smile all last tour.
Hola, Michael Melero, Spain. FMX for me is my life, my work, and my big job.
Malero, such a nice kid. He grew up as Danny Torres and now he's really come out, and like we said earlier, he even has beaten Danny Torres in a head-to-head before. He's got Danny's style, though. He studied under Danny. He's got that quick, perfect robotic Spanish style, and he's going to start off big here. Seat grab, backflip.
Was that seat grab backflip or double grab flip?
Did he get a, you know what, it was so far away, we'll have to check. We'll have to check the replay. Cordova flip.
Perfect landing, by the way, on that step down jump.
And remember, the judges want to see these guys flipping that step down jump as well as all the other jumps. They don't want to see any favoritism to a ramp. They don't want to see them doing one ramp more than another.
He a clicker to Superman. Well, let's give him a horseshoe to Superman on that one. He didn't really get his feet right together.
And combos like that are so difficult because you're moving from the front of the bike to the back of the bike as you're doing a backflip.
We just saw the execution or the rock solid combo. And that's the name of the game these days. It seems like the combos is the only way that you can keep up in the sport of freestyle motocross.
Well, and it seems like if you don't have a surfer, you're nothing these days. Surfer takeoff right into a big kiss of death. Malero is such a little guy. We actually saw him he's struggling turning around in the tunnel last night, trying to hold up that bike, but we see a side saddle takeoff there.
He's a big man as far as riding the bike.
Absolutely.
He's sitting on it, sitting still. He is a target. He's the smallest rider.
Go in, look at that one-handed takeoff, making sure the judges see that. Into a big stretched out sideshow there.
That was a pretty solid run from Michael Malero. I like the job he did on that one. He didn't have very many mistakes. His landings were almost all picture perfect. You know, he's got the good combos, and the fans here liking him. And he's really come out of his shell as far as riding. I remember when he first came on the scene, you know, he would do his run, he'd go to the top of the landing room and go, do a tiny wave, and then he would leave as quickly as possible, so he wouldn't have to be in the public eye so much. But now he seems to enjoy it, and he's getting out there and he's putting on a bit of a show. The only thing we're missing is the Ronnie Renner wave.
That might be coming. If he busts out a sprinkler, I'm cutting him off from watching old Ronnie Renner videos. Good to see him letting the personality out a little bit more, because he's been such a quiet guy. It's been hard over the years to get to know him because his English wasn't great, and now he's really coming out of his shell. So great to see him. So yeah, it was just to see grab flip, lands pretty well. You want to be watching. The judges are watching to make sure both tires touch down at the same time. Any variance from that, even just that little bit of the front end high, it's going to be just the tiniest of point deductions. There we go. That was a perfect landing.
Execution and a rock solid. I really like that trick.
That's
it's
very
stylish.
And if Levi does it in his run here, we're going to see even one step above that, which was the holy grabbed executioner to rock solid.
Levi also has that bar hop to Superman, so that's a step up from the heel clicker to Superman. Just in the difficulty rating of having to hop the bars, get it back, and then go into another trick behind the bike.
Going up against the #1 seed is never easy.
No.
But worst case scenario, Molero may be able to fall back on his dance moves if freestyle motocross doesn't work out for him.
Yeah, we'll see him on the Redbull PC1 one of these days. All right, our next rider up, Levi Sherwood.
Hey, I'm Levi Sherwood from New Zealand. I wouldn't really say I'm an adrenaline junkie, even though I'm from New Zealand. I like to have fun and I like to do scared doing scary stuff. So, I don't know, I just kind of find what works for me and do it.
Well, clearly freestyle motocross works for Levi Sherwood. He is a former World Tour champion. He is in the top seed again, coming into this event here in Mexico to open the 2014 season. And he starts right away with a big backflip one-hand hard tag, and that was solid.
Yeah, Levi's he's got his mojo back, I have to say. Last year we were all watching him ride and wondering like what was up with Levi. He just didn't bring it like he has in the past, and he's a different rider. He's back to the 17-year-old kid that came out here and won this competition, which I love seeing. This, if my memory serves me, is the first competition he ever won here in this bull ring when he's 17 years old and burst onto the scene.
Yeah, and that's pretty amazing. Off the super kicker down.
And there's that 360 that he's bringing.
Did he ever travel on that?
Yeah.
Most of the guys are landing on the ramp right in front of us, and he ended up landing on the ramp over to the right of the takeover.
Well, it's a 360 almost transfer, which is kind of cool. So bonus points there on use of course and variety for throwing down the 360.
And the energy judges as well. You can see the live scoring there. It's moving a little bit. Sherwood having the advantage. There's the backside of Alvaro Darfara, the guy who is throttling up the energy for this run here, and Levi Sherwood is definitely bringing it.
Yeah, big kiss of death backflip, huge extension, just like only a few guys can do. And we also missed that, and we'll see in slow motions, the big turn down upside knack-knack, which I've really been liking that he's adding to his trick.
Oh, there was that bar hop that he wanted to go back to Superman, but he didn't get it back into the Superman position. But the bar hop flip is nevertheless, pretty nice.
Yeah, it's a pretty serious trick there as Levi takes a quick lap around the arena here. And we see up there, we know that he's got one helmet already, the Energy Live judging 82.4, almost 4 entire points ahead of where Molero was. And that's what happens when you ride with passion, when you're having fun. The crowd and the judges can tell. Look at that extension there.
That's fantastic. It's like I was saying off the top, earlier on, there's a couple of guys that just have incredible flexibility on this tour. Levi Sherwood is one, Remy Bizarre is another.
And Adam Jones.
And Adam Jones, right, but I think Adam Jones's flexibility is limited to his shoulders.
And there's that 360. Not completely flat, but I love the way that he traveled over there. And there's that turn down upside knack-knack, which is a really cool combo. Big whips. The crowd always loves a good whip. And there we go once again. Kiss of death. Really, really just stretching that out, holding it as long as he can, looking through his arms, and then getting it back through the last second. And I think Malero knows what's coming.
Well, we know that he's got Levi Sherwood's already got the energy helmet. See how execution goes. Oh, it's very close. Only a half-point difference between the two of them. That helmet also going to Levi Sherwood. Variety. That belongs to Michael Malero. Wow. Very nice. So this may yet still become a battle. Use of course. Wow, very close battle. Wow. 86 to 85. Levi Sherwood will advance to the semifinal. And style also belongs to Sherwood. So nice job by both of those guys. Good job by Michael Malero to come out and actually ride very, very well. But Levi Sherwood took that one away.
And last year's Tour champion is already out. That just shows what level we're at here in 2014 on this tour. I don't know how much higher they can take it, but somehow they continue to just not even inch it up. Like, they're taking it up by huge chunks every time.
Monumental strides in the level of skill that these riders are bringing to the sport. It's just incredible. And I think that we can also attribute a lot of that to the fact that Thomas Pages just said to everybody, hey guys, I don't need this anymore. I'm going to do my own thing. And it worked.
Here we go. Adam Jones feeling good, qualifying well, riding well in the quarterfinal. All he needs to do is go put down the exact same run that he just put down, except we're going to have 15 extra seconds here in the semifinal, so 90 seconds. So that's probably one, maybe possibly two extra jumps, just depending on your line. And no mistakes.
Let's look at it from another point of view as well. He had 75 seconds in that one run, and he was causing a cutter out there. He's got 90 seconds now, and he's already made his first mistake. Man,
you know what?
What's going on, Jonesy?
Unfortunately, that's the double grab flip that he's nailed perfectly the last 4 times out of the gate.
Yeah.
And unfortunately for Adam. But you can't stop right now, Adam. Come on. Get back on.
Go back and do it again.
Get that out of your head. Move past it. Take a deep breath, because you don't know what's going to happen to Josh Sheehan. He may have a mental mistake like that.
There we go.
Perfect.
He wanted to have that jump. Good for him to go back in there. He wasted a little bit of his time, but if he rides the rest of his run clean and smooth, he may be able to make it up.
He's still got 60 seconds on the clock. Rigor mortis. If he can just go do the same run that he did, then it's up to Josh Sheehan not to make any mistakes.
That's
and
right.
In the level these guys are at right now, making a mistake, a slight mental mistake like Adam just made, is easy. Look at that extension there on that cliffhanger flip.
And he really popped the hips. That's something that you've been mentioning quite a lot, that you really like the way that he was popping the hips on that cliffhanger flip.
Well, a lot of guys will try and cheat that trick and not that. Oh, no! No!
What happened
Adam,
there?
Get back on.
Give it up.
It's crazy that even when you're one of the best guys to ride a motorcycle in the last 10 years in freestyle motocross, hey, even they fall down every once in a while.
Well, I think what happened there is his front tire slipped out, and I don't know if he was in that tunnel in time on that horn.
Yeah, we're going to have to get a call from our head judge, Jason. Well, it does count, so there's that turntable, no hammer. Finishes off strong.
Finishes strong, very nice.
Only 5 jumps, I think, and he really should have had 8. Is that 5?
Yeah, I think it's 5. If you include the first jump as dead sailor, then it's 6.
No. But you never know, and Josh Sheehan could. You don't know what your opponent's going to do. This is head-to-head, and it can happen. It happens to everyone out there. You have a small mental mistake, you miss a jump.
Looking at it again here, that's where he wanted to do that double, and you can even see it.
Yeah.
Ah, man.
You know right away.
Yeah,
if you
right
take
away.
off, you know. But here's what he does the second time. Great extension. Holds it for a second. Double grab flip.
Yeah.
That's so difficult. Here's that rigor mortis.
I also really love the way that he just pops his head back and arches it. Makes that thing just a little bit more intense. One more look at the double grab flip there from another angle.
And here we go. See that extension? He's almost straight up and down. And that's the way, when Bilko started doing these things, that's the way they were supposed to be done. And then a lot of guys, they learned them, but they really stayed bent over at the hips, and you'll see guys do it. Oh,
watch his front tire here. He just didn't have enough angle, and he lost his front tire. That's a bit unfortunate, because that's just like a dopey move.
Yeah, unfortunately. What actually happened there is he thought that he slid the back tire around a bit further as he locked up that rear brake, and when he went to gas it out of that, he wasn't quite far enough around, and unfortunately for him,
cost him.
It's going to cost him big.
Yeah. All right. Josh Sheehan up next. And as we saw in the run earlier on, Josh Sheehan has definitely been looking good here, and he adds the flare 540 into his repertoire of tricks.
Well, and unfortunately for Sheeny here, there's not the double backflip ramp, which is his specialty, and it's something that he's got all the big tricks, but then you add all those big tricks to a double backflip. That makes a guy like him almost untouchable if he can just get that flare in there, maybe one more of the big tricks, which he's the kind of guy that could pull a special flip or the bolt wanted. And that in combination of the big tricks and the double flip maybe could make him untouchable. 360, little one-hander there.
Yes.
Now, I'm not sure if he wanted to do a cliffhanger there, or if he's actually going to do a 360 one-hander and then a 360 heel clicker later on, because we have the 15 extra seconds in this one.
Well, it's going to be interesting to see what he's decided to throw in the run here. Jonesy looking unconcerned watching. Really super nice sidewinder, really lazy sidewinder actually.
Here we go.
Good
540, loops it around. That's bad news for Jones, because that's one of those spots where he could have had a little bobble, and he nails it. So
one of our photographers down there, of course, you can't see him on camera, but Sebastian Marco just got a mouthful of dirt as Sheeny rode away from it.
There we go. The one-handed takeoff action, but I couldn't quite see, but I don't think he actually got the saran wrap that he was going for and has been doing in the other round. So that may be a little marked down against him, but if he gets all his tricks in, no matter what happens, he's got Jonesy covered.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, those 2 extra tricks is all it's going to take.
Huge kiss of death backflip out of Josh Sheehan. 9 seconds on the clock.
And barring, catastrophic failure in this run, I think Sheeny's got this one locked down. Look at that.
Usually we don't try and prejudge these ourselves, but there have been a couple pretty clear instances here. Sheeny cooning it up a little bit for the crowd. They love that down here.
It was just a silly thing that happened. And I mean, the first jump, okay, fine. It didn't work out. You weren't ready for it. Go back, do it again. Good on him. He got it. He beat it. But that fall on the landing or on the in-ramp up there, that was just an unfortunate small error. I think it cost him dearly.
Well, what Sheehan's going to have to do before the next round in the finals, being he's up against either Danny Torres or Sherwood, both, like I said, former champions, is he's really going to have to clean up that run he just had, because that was not a great run. He missed 2 different tricks, and he missed the heel clicker on the 360, he missed the saran wrap on the backflip off the super kicker, and he just didn't look out here. Here it goes. Yeah, see, he puts it up and doesn't get it around. So that may fly when Adam Jones crashes and misses 3 tricks, but that's not going to fly against a veteran. Torres and Sherwood very rarely make mistakes.
Yeah, so Sheeny's got the first helmet under the belt. He's also got the second one for execution. I think we can pretty much guarantee that all 5 helmets are going to go to Sheehan in this one. And absolutely nothing against Adam Jones. He's been riding so well this weekend. It's great to see him riding that well. But unfortunately for him, it's a clean sweep for Sheehan, and said, prediction on the money, Andy, with Sheeny going on to the final.
Yeah, we didn't really go out on a big limb there guessing on that one, Troy.
Yeah, that was more like a bridge. Step out on that one safely without worrying about it. All right, our next semifinal number 2, Danny Torres against Levi Sherwood. And as I said earlier on, this is a pairing we've seen more often in the past.
Yeah, 2011 champ versus the 2012 champ, and very different riding styles from these guys. And Levi really kind of brings that creativity and extension, massive extension because of his flexibility. And Danny Torres brings almost robotic perfection to every run that he has. So,
well, he's got those great extensions. He really pushes them to the limit, committing to the trick, and then just holding it for the longest time as well.
Yeah, and they're both, either one of them are big guys, so they're able to kind of get into positions that maybe some of us larger fellows, Troy, could get into. And it's really...
I can do the splits.
That, you know what? I called you out that you were lying about that, and I did lose money to that bet. So, ladies and gentlemen, don't bet Troy Mannering on the splits. All right, 15 seconds left on the clock. Danny Torres, once again, not used to being the first guy out, starting off side saddle, taking off right into a cat neck, heart attack position. A little bit AC/DC going for him out there, and really airing out the quarter pipe.
Still haven't seen the 540 flare from him. We heard rumor in the latter half of the season last year. We talked to him.
He hasn't had the time. It was such a bad winter in Europe. I mean, across the world, I think everyone had bad weather. So many of these guys weren't able to practice as much as they would like.
Sideshow right there. Keeping his flow nice though.
There's that Paris Hilton flip. Perfect landing. Once again, the judges are looking at every little piece of this, and when they come down, both wheels at the same time, right at the knuckle, right at the top, the sweet spot of the landing, it's just one more thing that these judges can mark as a good or a bad. Surfer takeoff, Indian air into a kiss of death. Really great combo with a very, very difficult entry into that ramp. Danny, lazy boy backflip. Still 15 seconds on the clock. I thought he was done. I looked down. He has ages left here.
I think he's got an extra jump on this one.
Yeah, this really has been good.
We didn't count it, but he might have an extra right there.
Big, getting fully out sideways on that whip flip. That may have even been an underflip. We're going to have to check it out on slow motion. We're just kind of at a bad angle.
So hard to pick that apart. The whip flip, underflip, I mean, you know.
Yeah, big whip flip, small underflip. Yeah, it's very, very similar. And, you know, even we up here, we need the slow motion to kind of break down what's going on. Danny, very, very solid run. And Levi.
He wants Laola here.
Levi's going to have to bring his A game.
Yeah.
Danny, like no other, knows how to work these bull rings.
Well,
he is the king of the bull rings.
He is the king of the bull rings, cutting his teeth in the early part of his career in the bull rings and basically just mastering what it takes to really excel in these smaller arenas. Look at the amplitude he gets off of that quarter pipe. And I mean, I have to ask myself how much of this, him doing that transfer from the quarter pipe over to the landing ramp, is just testing the waters to see if he needs the amplitude and if he can throw back the other direction for that 540 flat spin.
Well, I think he knows he can do it. I just don't think he's ready to commit it to dirt yet. And what we missed when we were chatting is he actually did a backflip executioner, which is a one-handed seat grab, reaching back with the other hand, tapping his boot. Perfect style. That was a really, really high-level trick that he threw out there. And yeah, I'm going to call it well, yeah, I was going to say whip flip. That's real tough. I mean, it's a
Rock,
tough call.
scissors, paper?
Yeah, I think, you know, that's how close all these tricks are. We have to argue about it up here in the booth. Danny Torres, so the one thing we don't have to argue about is that was as good a run as he could have possibly thrown down. So now he's throwing down the gauntlet to Levi Sherwood, and he leaves it all on there. Levi on his shoulders, say, hey, what do you have, kid?
Well, let's see what Levi Sherwood manages to put together in this 75-second run here in semifinal number 2 in his head-to-head against Danny Torres. We just saw Torres run. Sherwood's coming up now.
He's going to have 90 seconds, Troy.
Oh, excuse me.
We've moved all the way into the semifinals.
You're absolutely correct.
And guess what? He wastes no time getting right into it.
Yeah.
And he's riding, like I said earlier, he's just riding with a renewed passion, it seems like. He seems to be having a lot of fun out there on the bike, and it really shows in his riding. Massive turntable there, but if you notice the difference with Adam Jones, he took both hands off. Levi leaving one hand on, but really kind of elevating his legs up a lot higher because he's got the leverage of holding onto the handlebars. So, you know, one's a little better one way, one's a little better the other way. But regardless, Levi looking really solid to start off here.
And for the super kick.
Well, and here's that transfer 360, and this time he throws in a one-hander to boot. Judges love that when they see these guys stepping up their run in between each time they go out there. So, great job, Levi. Big upside knack on that turn down. We see the energy judge here. Starting to pump it up here. 83.6, 83.7. He's creeping up on Torres' score here. Sherwood's moving into the lead of the live energy. He's going to have to really throw down here in probably his last trick. Dead body backflip out of Sherwood, and I think that's going to take him. Oh, and he gets this one too. Nice.
Extra one.
And there, if I'm not mistaken, I think that was the Holy Grab Executioner into Rock Solid. And if that was the case, that was a massive combo. We're going to have to watch it here in a minute.
And those combos, it's the end-all be-all right now.
Yeah, count that up. That was, well, we'll see here in a minute. Let's start it off. Indian Air Heart Attack.
Flip.
With the backflip.
One-hander.
Which is another step up from what he did in the quarterfinals, because he just did a heart attack. This time he did a heart attack Indian Air flip.
Question is, if he makes it to the final, what's he got in store for us? He's got to save a little something.
Well, I have to say, without sitting and writing down everything, I like Levi's run better than Danny's. He really brought it. He brought so much variety. The only thing that's really going to count against him that I can notice is not using the quarter pipe. Look at that, that's so cool.
Yeah, I was just going to say, that's the one thing about Danny's run that I really liked, is he was willing to take a run at that quarter pipe. And I think both of them had equal number of hits in that run, because both of them were riding with nice flow and were pretty smooth from ramp to ramp.
I think it's pretty close, but we know already that Levi has the energy helmet already, so he only needs 2 more. Danny needs 3 out of the next 4. And Levi, wow, look at that. Levi's going to take this.
Looks like it. Levi's got the advantage right now. Wow, Danny Torres is back in it with a helmet for course use. There's the ramp.
Yeah, that's for using the quarter pipe there.
And Danny Torres with 2 helmets for variety. This is a battle now, so it's going to come down to the style.
Oh, this one's close.
This is very close.
I'm going with Levi. I'm going out right now.
Oh,
Levi,
there you go.
Did it. Nice.
Levi, nice. So we're going to see
what a
Sherwood
great battle
in the final with Josh Sheehan.
The Kiwi versus the Aussie. First or the last. Sometimes it's better to be the first, because then it's all up to you. You're not thinking about what the other guy did, and you're the one that's putting the pressure on the guy after you if you have a clean run.
Then that poker game aspect comes into play, and you have to play your heavy cards in that run.
You're showing your cards, but then again, if you make a small mistake, then you know that the guy that's watching is going to know, hey, maybe I can just hold back just a little bit.
All right, here we go. Josh Sheehan first jump out of the gate, and there it is, the 360 heel clicker. He seems pretty happy with it.
Yeah, well, that was great. That was very good. The best one he's done all weekend here. And he gets right into the executioner, rock solid, very solid. I'm stoked to see him get that first trick down because that really sets the tone for the rest of the 90 seconds. If he messed that one up, I think you'd be thinking about it a little too much, like what happened to Adam Jones.
Yeah, and that happens so often with these guys. That first trick is sometimes the key to the run. And he pulled it out nicely. Here we go with the 540 flare. Looking good. He's got to come out on the other side of the ramp this time, which takes his flow down a little bit because he's normally coming down on that left side of the ramp and then heading over the tunnel. He's got to go around to get there.
We may have to call that a 480 flare. Maybe not quite the full 540, but who are we to say? Here's the one-handed takeoff. Gets the saran wrap backflip. There we go. There's the two issues that he had with his semifinal run. And he fixed them, which is really good to see.
Really interesting way he throws the bike off on that flatliner. It almost looks like, you know, he's tossing the bike before he leaves the ramp. It's quite strange the way he exits that ramp. I hope he gets a slow.
Well, I think he may have gone side saddle on that one, and maybe that's what you were seeing as he throws a massive kiss of death backflip. I love how powerful he is on that trick. He really throws the bike out, extends everything. Lazy boy flip, that's really well extended for Josh.
That is a very, so you can't tell on TV. This angle here is probably the best angle we have for that ramp. It is extremely steep.
It is really steep. He does a little burnout, little smoke show for the crowd here. He is pumped. That was a very, very good run for Josh Sheehan. So Sherwood sitting there, now he knows he can make no mistakes if he wants to take home this win tonight.
High fives as the boys cross each other on the other side of the arena here. And Josh Sheehan decides that he doesn't need those goggles anymore, so he gifts them to the audience, which is going to definitely get him a few friends in the Mexican
At least
crowd
one.
here. Yeah, at least one.
All right, let's check that out. Almost a perfect heel clicker 360 out of Josh. The best one we've seen between last night and tonight. It's off. Executioner, rock solid, picture perfect form, maybe a little front end high on the takeoff. Check it out, Facebook / Red Bull X Fighters. Get the latest news and videos. Watch some replays. Check out some behind the scenes action with our boy Ronnie Renner. And there's that 480 flare. And there was the problem trick from the semifinals that he really got dialed out.
Yeah, this was a good run. This was a very solid final run for Josh Sheehan. And that puts a lot of pressure on Levi Sherwood to come out and, as you say, have a perfect run.
Well, we know Levi has the tricks to win this thing. We know he has the skills. Now it's about managing any mistakes and making sure that he's got 90 perfect seconds on the motorcycle in order to be able to take Josh Sheehan down. And for Josh, his job is done. He did everything that was possible for him to do tonight on this course, and it's all up to Levi Sherwood.
He did his job. He did his job well, and he is in a position now where he can just sit back and relax. Regardless of what happens, worst case scenario for him, he's got second place.
Which is a great way to start off the year.
Wow, it's definitely not bad. 80 or 85 points.
Yeah, 80 points.
All right, Levi Sherwood starts from the step down ramp with a big
heart attack flip.
Heart attack flip. Yeah, really nice. Super solid.
Gives a little wheel tap to the lights in the hallway there, showing you how tight it is there.
Oh, wow!
Stretches the turntable
Well, there's that
into heart
extra
attack
push.
style, then over into a Superman. Love the energy Levi's coming with right now.
That was the extra thing we were talking about, that extra little bit that he would have needed to bring to this final run, and that was just amazing.
The judges don't want to see the same run 3 times. They want to see that you're bringing something extra. He comes around here for his 360, one-handed, reaches back, old stalefish style, back like Mike Metzger back in the day, grabbing the back fender with the opposite hand. He has stepped up. Each of his runs has added just a little twist, but the judges notice that, and that's what they want to see.
Well, there's your favorite trick.
Yeah. The upside knack turn down. And I really like his line choice. He's really getting between these ramps really quickly, throwing down the massive KOD flip. And still 20 seconds left on the clock, and he's really done a lot of really high-level tricks so far.
Plenty of time left on the clock. Maybe he's going to get 2 more jumps in and get back into position.
Oh, nice. He's got it.
He's got it.
This is going to count. Nice work, Levi.
Right on top of the gas for a big holy grab. Fantastic. And he just decides to let the bike go.
You know what? I think he knows. And I love Josh Sheehan, and I love watching him ride like he just did, but with two of his big tricks out of his repertoire tonight, he could not hold up. Yeah. I don't believe it hasn't been scored yet, so maybe I'm speaking out of turn.
But the thing is and I think the crux for Levi Sherwood in this particular run was that turntable back to Superman. That was the step up, that notch up from the first run here in the semifinal.
Yeah, and he just really threw down just a perfect run. Let's break down some of this here. Started big with the look back hard attack backflip. Perfect form as always with Levi. And there we go. Turntable stretches it way back out to a Superman.
It was fantastic.
Reaching back around with that opposite hand on the 360. Great use of course. The only thing he's missing on his use of course versus Josh is that quarter pipe. Again, I think Levi has to go home, build himself a quarter pipe and get comfortable on that thing, because that is 1/5 of your score is use of course, and if you lose that every time, it makes your job so much harder.
All right, here we go. Variety. Is it going to be Sheehan or Sherwood? This one's going to go to Josh Sheehan.
And wow, this is going to be tight because Sheehan's going to get use of course as well.
Execution belongs to Levi Sherwood.
Wow.
Levi Sherwood's got the style, use of course.
I think it's going to Josh.
Yeah,
it's going to Josh. Oh.
So it comes down to the energy judge, which we did not see live for a specific reason.
This one's tough, but I think this one really has to go to Levi because he just rode so hard.
Oh, there you go. Levi Sherwood. Good call, Andy Bell. Nicely done. Congratulations to both of those men. They absolutely rode a fantastic contest tonight. Levi Sherwood just that tick higher for the energy side of things, and I mean, it was a good job.
Barely. I mean, what an amazing contest. What an amazing ride out of both of those guys. And it really sets the stage going forward to Osaka, because there will be a double backflip ramp there, and Josh Sheehan will come in hard and heavy and will have that in his repertoire. And who knows what else. And maybe Levi will be able to learn the flare in the next 2 months and be able to combat that against the Tom Pages and Josh Sheehan.
All right, looks like we're going to go down. Ronnie Renner is with Levi Sherwood right now, so let's see what he's got to say about this run.
Down here with Levi Sherwood celebrating with his buddies. I think I know the answer to this already, but how does it feel to win in front of this crowd?
I don't even really know what you're saying, but it feels amazing. I can't really hear anything. The crowd's going so big, and it feels like an eternity since I've had a moment like this, so I'm going to embrace it.
Well, what was your secret recipe here, buddy?
Not to be rude or anything, but just not caring. I come here with a carefree attitude, and I really just want to have fun. I hadn't had fun all last year, and it seemed to work for me this year, so I'm stoked.
Keeping it loose. Congratulations.
All right, thanks a lot, Ronnie Renner. Fun is the name of the game, and it seems to be so much of a theme throughout a lot of different sports. As we take a look here at the results here in Mexico City, which will be our current overall World Tour standings. Levi Sherwood on top with Josh Sheehan in second place and Danny Torres in third place. So good job by those three guys. They are our leaders, and they will be our podium here in Mexico. And what a way to start off this 2014 Red Bull X Fighters World Tour season for Levi Sherwood.
And like he said, and like we noticed earlier, he's having fun. He's smiling down in the pits. He's smiling and joking with everyone in the riders area. Last year, he was kind of almost like pulled into himself and just kind of sitting in the corner. He looked like he was bummed out. He didn't ride like he was having fun, and his results showed for it.
Well, here we go. Third place goes to Danny Torres. And when we get a close-up of these trophies, they're fantastic and they're really cool. It's a heart that has the look of a motor. It's very, very cool. Josh Sheehan, the Australian, the young man.
Wow, that
second
is
place
cool.
for him. That is a cool trophy, eh? Good job. All right, and our winner here at the kickoff event for the Red Bull X Fighters World Tour 2014, the opening event in Mexico. This one belongs to that man right there, Levi Sherwood. Congratulations. What a way to start the season.
Really, really cool to see Levi just having so much fun, smiling, taking home the win. It's really going to set the stage moving into Osaka because a completely different course comes to us in Japan. Not only is the course going to be big and wide open, we're going to be riding during the day instead of at night. So everything is going to be different, but I do feel that now that everybody knows where they stand, they're going to go back to the drawing board and spend the next 8 weeks really polishing up on every trick and trying to learn everything that they possibly can to come out hard in Osaka.
3 daytime events, 2 nighttime events on this tour this year of the 5. We've got different course designs, we've got different course sizes. This will be one of the smaller ones. Madrid will be a smaller one. The other 3 will be big courses. So it's going to need a rider that is a very well-rounded, all-around type of rider. And we know these guys can excel on these courses. And Levi Sherwood has shown tonight that he's got the gusto to go for it and takes top spot this evening. So congratulations to him. A very good job. And as is traditional in the bullfighting scene here, he will be carried around the arena here. And he's going to like every moment of this. We saw this last year with Tom Pages. He enjoyed that. Levi Sherwood will enjoy it this year as well.
Look at the size of that man they just found.
He's a big guy.
They found a giant down there. And you know what, like Levi said, he's just going to soak this in. And this is going to be so good for his confidence rolling forward. Freestyle motocross, any sport at this level, which is the top world-class level, it is 90% mental. All these guys do great tricks. All these guys know most of the tricks, if not all of the tricks. It's the ability to put them together under pressure and on the world stage, being on live television like this, that's the secret to it.
And look here, World Tour standings, and Adam Jones sitting there in 4th place, Tom Pages in 5th place. Both of those guys are still in attack position with 4 more stops to go. Our next stop coming up on the 25th of May is Osaka, Japan, at the Castle of Osaka. We hope that you'll all join us for that event as well. We are done and dusted here in Mexico. It's been a pleasure with you in the booth. Andy, Troy Mannering for Andy Bell saying goodbye and see you guys in